Namaste and welcome to all our viewers. Ministry of Culture, Government of India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, where we celebrate 75 years of independence. Today, I am joined by Ms. Prachi Shevgaonkar. She is an environmentalist. She is the founder and CEO of Cool the Globe. She has done her bachelor's degree from Symbiosis Center of Media and Communications in Mass Communication and Media Studies. I am your moderator for today, Ravindra Purohit. I am a lawyer and entrepreneur. So Prachi ji, tell us a little bit about your journey from where you began and how do you think the fight for climate change and technology in climate change is helping out the culture and Atmanirbharta in India.
So my journey started when I was just a young student, and I started hearing a lot about climate change and the role I'm playing in it. And it troubled me. I wanted to do something about it, but I didn't really know what I could. So I remember going to my parents and asking them, what do you think I can do about climate change? And we decided to start from our own home. We took up a simple quest to reduce our own greenhouse gas emissions by 10% every year. And so to do that, I started researching on which activities of mine are leading to greenhouse gas emissions. How can I reduce them? But also, how can I measure them? How can I know the impact of my climate action? And as I started doing that, something interesting happened. I began to enjoy it. It almost became like a fun activity that I was doing with my family. It felt good that at least at my own level, I was doing something. And I think that is also the crux of activism, starting from your own life. The second thing that happened was that so many of my batchmates, my friends, citizens around me started to take notice. And they would come to me and they would say, it looks like you're doing something interesting and we would like to be a part of it. And that's when I began thinking about how can I get global citizens with me on the quest for climate action using technology. And from this, we came up with the idea for Cool the Globe, an app which would help people like you and I reduce our own greenhouse gas emissions to a target. So essentially, what our platform does is that it helps everyone reduce their carbon footprint. In the platform, you can see a host of simple day-to-day climate actions you can take up, and you can see the that is avoided by doing that. But then a lot of people also think, what difference can one person? We believe that when all of us come together, when the entire country stands together, the collective impact will be very big. So we have a global meter on our platform, which means the collective emissions avoided by everyone. So today we have users like you, citizens from over 100 countries on our app, helping fight climate change in their day-to-day life. 80% of users are from our country, India. And all of these citizens collectively have avoided over 1 million kg of CO2 emissions through making simple changes in their day-to-day life.
That is very commendable. And just to move forward with, sorry to interject also. You came up, you have done your graduation in arts and communications. Then you came up with the app, which is a part of engineering technology and information and technology. So how did this transition come at a young age? Like you just graduated out of college and then you started with an app. So how did this transition come and how was the role of the government in helping you become independent in starting this initiative?
So I remember something that our Honorable Prime Minister said that really impacted me. He said the most powerful way to fight a big problem like climate change is through lifestyle change. It's through the change that we can take up in our day-to-day life. And throughout childhood, I had learned about our history and about the biggest changes, about our freedom fight, and how all of these transformational changes took place not just through big leaders, influencers, celebrities, but the biggest transformations happened through ordinary citizens. So I think a key role that the government played in helping me facilitate this journey is that it made me realize the power that I have to bring about change. Mumbai, a city in my state, Maharashtra, has just joined the network of 240 cities, which are taking global cities which are taking urgent action on climate crisis. And they just started a Women for Climate program, which is mentoring young women to be a part of this fight. I was honored to be a mentor in this program. So what the government is doing is that it's decentralizing climate action. It's making us the leaders to bring about change. And I think that really helps me start a movement.
Since I have come from a law background, so there are a lot of conventions which have happened in the last millennium to say early first decade of this millennium, be it the Montreal Protocol or other things that have happened, where where the entire globe has committed to climate change. But we couldn't see much. Like I live in a city called Jodhpur, which is like the hottest city in this country. Temperature crosses 50. Our ACs don't work in the summer. So there has been more of a talk about climate change in the past, but of lately we have started seeing a bit of results when we have shifted to electric. We are shifting our sources of energy to become clean energy. What do you think has been the crucial point in last 10 years in climate change, and how do you think the next 25 years are? Like where are we heading?
Right. So when I started Cool the Globe, I didn't know that people were going to use it because people didn't care about climate change. They didn't know about climate change. The change that I've seen happen, even before starting our own app, I first looked whether there are any technology platforms like this out there, and there weren't any. So I thought if nobody else is doing this, then we must do it ourselves. So at that time, the awareness was very low. What's changed in recent years is that people have realized that climate change is not just about the big words that we hear about. It's not just about sea level rise. It's not just about rising temperatures. As ordinary people, we care about very simple things, right? We care about our homes, our food, we care about our livelihoods, and most importantly, we care about our families and the people around us. So people are starting to realize how climate change is impacting all of these issues, and that's why they're wanting now to take action on it. So I think what the next 25 years will look like in terms of technology is that people are going to be a part of building these technologies and not just scientists. Even today I go and speak with children in schools, in colleges, and everybody is working on a project, on an initiative to help the world fight climate change. So I think the big change that's going to happen is that technology is going to come from the grassroots, from the local communities, and that's why it's going to be the most impactful.
So we also hope, like when we hear the word climate change, we are related to the young environmentalist Greta Thunberg as a global movement. So we also hope that when we talk about climate change in India, we hope to see like reference towards Prachi Shevgaonkar in the next 25 years. So on that light also, I just want to know that what do you think are our social achievements? Like what have we as a society, like in India, we have always given importance to climate, environmental conservation of environment, wildlife conservation. Like there are countries where there are slaughterhouses. Eventually, they emit the maximum amount of methane, which we do not. That is our tradition. So, what do you think socially we have been able to achieve, and what are we achieving?
Yeah. I think for India, the two powerful achievements, in my regard, is the first one is that we have a clear, ambitious goal to reach net zero emissions, which many countries do not. So we have taken a lead in committing to fight climate change, and we've taken a strong stand on that. We're going to reach net zero by 2070. So just in my experience, just having a clear target in front of us can also go a long way. The second achievement, according to me, is that is a very powerful initiative that India has started, which is the Solar Alliance. One sun is one world, one grid. I believe it's powerful because it's not only going to help India fight climate change, it's going to help us become the energy capital of the world in the future, because we have a very powerful vessel with us, to switch to renewables, which is the sun. We have the sun in abundance. The Solar Alliance is an ambitious initiative which looks at how India is going to help the entire world shift to renewables with the help of a formula. So it's a powerful vision, and if we do, I think it's a great success in launching that vision. And if we do stick to it, I believe that India can really be the leader of the new millennium.
Absolutely, Prachi. So, continuing to what we are discussing, like what has been the azadi, the freedom of say using your own energy. That's what you have been talking also, that we have abundance of sun, and if we can generate our own energy, that is the azadi from the dependence on the expensive electricity which we are getting, the azadi to breathe the free air, because that eventually causes a lot of pollution in metropolitans like Delhi and Bombay. There is a big problem of fogging. There is a big problem of damage to lungs because of poisonous gases. So, do you think that government needs to increase their pace in what we are doing right now? Like we are coming out with policy of becoming neutral on emissions, like net zero on emissions. But what about so there is one way of reducing emissions by creating other sources. Like either you reduce your emissions or you create sustainable sources and you become net zero. So what do you think? What do we need to do to cut our emissions? We have become net neutral by increasing the sources of renewable energy. What do you think government can do in that aspect also?
Right. So two things that that the government can do and is already doing. I think one big difference in our strategy is that where other global countries are looking at just increasing renewables, our government is looking at how solar can reach every household, how every household can be powered by renewable energy. And that's a very powerful thought, right? Because it gives every citizen the azadi to create their own energy, the self-reliance, Atmanirbharta. So I think that's a very powerful vision, and we definitely want to increase the pace of that movement. And a good way to do that is to allow virtual net metering for renewable energy, so that so that citizens in cities can have solar plants at the outskirts where there's lots of space, and they can get connected to the grid and have that energy independence. So that's one area that I can see in terms of actually reducing our consumption. Again, our India is known very traditionally for ordinary people, making changes in their own lifestyle. If you look at other countries have been looking at climate action, they've been listening to experts. We just have to listen to our own grandmothers and our grandparents and the life they lived. So the best way that we can go ahead with this is to go back to our roots, to go back to the way we live sustainably, because it really is very deeply embedded in our culture. And a big way to sort of motivate individuals towards climate action is to help them measure the impact of it, to create citizen movement, to create citizen groups, ambassadors who are agents of this change, and that's what we are trying to do through this project.
With that wonderful thought, Prachi ji, we thank you for joining us for today's small session. So we hope that you get success in Cool the Globe for your initiative and you reach out to the masses of the globe. Thank you for being part of this session.